Tell us a little bit about why you're here today at Indiana's Early Childhood Education Day and what it means to your organization.
Our funding mechanisms are very different. With just within 45 miles of a larger city like Valparaiso or Lafayette, we've put up donor dollars for childcare seats in our two counties, and philanthropy cannot fund this all by itself. We've done a really great job making inroads with our Newton and Jasper County elected officials. They've been very supportive, so we're thankful for that. But we're going to have to figure out a better way to fund this. Our families need it to go to work. Our kindergarten teachers would love to have kids ready to learn, and we don't have these other buckets of money to pull that from. So we have to figure out a better way.
So we've heard a couple about these trifecta programs that are going on, where it's the employer, the employee, and the state. So it's three folks with funding mechanisms. Talk about how that figures into what you're working on.
There's certain parts of that model that might be helpful in our area, where the shared services for providers on the back end is a really big part of that model. We've got providers who need assistance with their bookkeeping and training and all those things that could really be helpful if that was more efficient for them. I'm not certain we have the business community to fund that third part. To be honest with you, we're going to have to really think about that in rural areas, what that looks like for us. I haven't sat down and thought about it, extensively, but I mean, Jasper Newton Foundation is the only funder in the two county area as far as philanthropy goes, and then we're down to county and township governments. There aren't other funds, and our work is ag. Our work is the land. And that doesn't translate to money very easily either. So, I mean, we're going to have to really think about how that might affect us.
It's so interesting how different the counties are, not only in Northwest Indiana, but across the state, and how issues can't be treated the same. No matter what it is, partnerships seem to be the thing that gets us through between the different foundations, between Lakeshore Public Media, between First Things First. Nothing happens well without partnerships. And something that we're talking about is how it's not just an issue of child care for a child that's born. It's a community child care issue. It's once that child is grown, what resources were put into their early childhood to affect their adulthood.
No, absolutely. I said this earlier today. This is an ecosystem. And if we don't think about it that way, we're going to be killing off part of a really good thing. And so it's going to take a little longer, and we're going to have to talk to each other. Like we're not going to be able just to make declarative statements and match it up with money and magically everything's fine. We're going to have to ask the people who are doing the work in the field, how does this affect you? Is this going to work? Because our communities need choices too. I have families that want to send their children to someone's home for care, or to a church for care, or to an institution that's neither one of those things for care. We all need those options, so our workers can go to work.
It's not one size fit all, but it's one community helps all. And you talked about Jasper and Newton counties, and that's one of the areas I have heard has the issue of something that's not talked about a lot, which is child care deserts. And when it's kind of interesting, when you drive up 65 heading back north from here, there's vast open areas where there's not a lot. But there's people needing work done in that area, so they need resources. So I believe that's a little bit about what you're talking about, what you're trying to affect change in.
Yeah, what we do where we live is grow things, and that takes space to do it. So we aren't going to infill with 300 home subdivisions and magically have more people to make everything easier. We grow crops, we make a lot of really good things. I'm not a farmer, and I say we grow eggs. We don't do that. I mean, we grow a lot of food where I live, and that takes a lot of space. So we have to think about the ecosystem of that community and how these legislative efforts and funding efforts might affect that.
It's so interesting, that term, community ecosystems. When any time you hear ecosystem, you think, well, it's going to be someone dealing with nature and animals, but it's also about living environments.
No, right. We were talking about this in the car this morning on the way to this great day. Providing preschool at our elementary schools, our rural schools that are already seeing a drop in enrollment, might actually put all of our home care providers out of business for that age group. So what is a good thing is a good thing, but not maybe for everyone. So we really have to be strategic about how we offer those new things to our different communities. Like you said, our ecosystem is different, and it is affected by all of the other communities too. But these solutions have to be able to be crafted for each community.
Brienne, thank you so much for being a representative for Jasper Newton, but also for early childhood development.
Thank you.
Thank you.